Again, I've come up with a video which I think is quite interesting. I've combined some traditional lifts, gym moves with some resistance bands. Okay, so I'm adding the ascending resistance of the bands to the dead weight, which work against gravity of the barbell. Okay, so you totally the dead weight is a total the same weight throughout the movement, and the bands become ascending resistance as you get higher into the movement. Okay, so this one I've got a deadlift, so you see I'm just stepping on the band there. Okay, now I have a Romanian deadlift. Again, I'm stepping into the bands. Okay, and I'm using the ascending resistance of the bands against the dead weight of the barbell. Okay, so what I'm going to do is keep a good neutral spine, shoulders together, drive through the heels and push the hips forward. Okay, so have a go there. This is a different one, so I've got the small 6-inch bands there instead of the 41-inch bands. Okay, or 13-inch I should say. Okay, so now we're going on to a bench press. Okay, so I'm using speed and power from the bottom upwards because as I push through the band, the barbell, the tension becomes more, so I have to really generate some power from the bottom onwards. Okay, now I'm going into some frontal squats. Okay, so what I'm going to do is sit back, keep the weight on the heels, come down as deep as I can, keep the knees behind the toes and try not let my knees collapse inwards. So as I go, I breathe up, breathe out on the way up and drive through the heels on the way up. Yeah. So now I'm going to go for some box squats to really take the glutes, the hips through a range of motion. Okay, so again, I sit on the box and I really have to use speed and power on the way up because of the ascending resistance of the bands. As you see, obviously I've got the band attached on both sides there. Okay, so sit down on the box, drive up through the heels, use some speed and power on the way up. Okay, so a push press. So because I'm coming quite high here, I really do have to generate speed and power um, to force my way through the ascending resistance of the band. Okay, so I'm going to use my hips, my trunk, my core, my shoulders, my arms. I'm going to get everything into this. Okay, so it's like a full body, workout. I'm doing everything, not just isolating one muscle group. Okay, so now we move on to the split squats. Okay, so nice upright torso, drive up through the heels. Again, the tension of the band is going to get stronger as I go up, which is different to the dead weight of the barbell. It gets heavier at the bottom and lighter at the top. The bands do the opposite thing. Okay, so now I have a bit of an horizontal vector here. So I'm pulling through forces of vertical and horizontal because the bands are pulling me to the horizontal vector and the dead weight through the vertical gravity resistance. Okay, some reverse lunges. Okay, so some front lunges. So I'm working my trunk. I'm making my trunk work a bit harder here because I've positioned the barbell on my shoulders in a frontal position. Okay, so you can obviously do back squats or back lunges as well. Position the barbell on your back as well. Okay, so upright rows, just keep the knees slightly bent. Try not to round the shoulders too much and bring the elbows up. Bring the elbows up to the shoulders. Okay, so again, it's going to get stronger as I come, or more difficult as I come to the top. Okay, so this one is a fun one. So now the bands are being incorporated as an assistance rather than a resistance. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going into a fully extended rollout. Okay, so all my joints, my ankles, my knees, my hips, my shoulders, my elbows, my wrists, everything's become fully extended. Okay, so I roll out into that position instead of on my knees. Okay, so now some hip presses, drive through the heels. I've got the ascending resistance of the band again and the dead weight of the barbell. I'm positioning my shoulders and my head and my upper back on the box. Okay, so just breathe out, squeeze the glutes, drive through the heels. Okay, on the way up. So now this step up variation was, so I'm going quite high here, so it's going to add a lot of tension because obviously the more the bands, the more ascending resistance I put on the bands, the harder it gets. Okay, so I'm just going to drive through the heels, drive my heel through the box and step up, breathe out on the way up. Okay, so it's really going to work my legs, my core. So it's like a unilateral exercise, so one side. So a good way to annoy everybody in the gym. So a lot of people don't like to see people doing arm curls in the squat rack anyway. So I'm going to use a bit of a back swing, knee slightly bent, swing the back into it. The bands are anchored from both sides, and away you go, some arm curls. Okay, so thanks for watching. Please leave your feedback below, and